everyone, I'm Silver Sims, and in today's video I'm back again with something really exciting because I wanted to build a real Latin American dance studio. I truly hope you are going to enjoy this, and maybe this video will speak a little more to those of you who have Latin blood running through your veins. Because I'm sure you are going to feel the rhythm, the color, the flair, and the unquiet vibe of Latin harmony. Sorry, my English language really bad, sorry. In this video, I really want to create something fun, light-hearted, and exciting for you, and if you are someone who loves the Latin atmosphere and Latin dance like salsa, rumba, mambo or samba, then this is definitely a video you are going to enjoy. I am sure you already saw in the intro what one of the dance rooms in this Latin American dance studio looks like. Honestly, what inspired me, and I have to admit, these were Latin American TV shows. I've never taken any Latin dance classes myself, but I've seen so many dance signs in those shows. And not just that, the buildings, the houses, the rooms, they all had such a beautiful Spanish or Latin inspired vibe, and the style really stuck in my mind. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know the classic telenovelas, those drama series like Cuidado con el Ángel, Esmeralda, and others like them. I can't really list too many more because I haven't watched those kinds of shows in years, but I definitely have my favorite actresses. Ones I've always loved and who really quite me through the world of Latin American series. Two of them are Natalia Oreiro and Maite Perroni. I absolutely adore them, and they are the ones who kind of accompanied me on my journey into that world. The thing is, I watched these shows a lot as a kid. Every time I came home from school, I'd sit down to lunch or a snack, turn on the TV, and most of the time there's be a Latin American series on, and honestly, I could never resist. I always watched them. They really spoke to me, and to be honest, I always like the Latin shows more than, say, Turkish ones, even though in my country Turkish series are super trendy and get a lot of airtime on TV. But for me, those shows always felt a bit dark, a bit sad, a bit too deep emotionally. Latin series, on the other hand, are just happier, warmer, and more colorful in their vibe. Of course, they still have tons of drama, but in a different way. I think it really depends on personal taste. What kind of shows people enjoy, what kind of stories recharge them or bring them comfort. And maybe part of the reason I love Latin American shows so much is also because of the music. The music is in these shows is amazing, super catchy, rhythmic and melodic. There are so many songs I've actually searched for afterward, downloaded to my phone, just because I heard them in one of these series and fell in love with them. And coming back to my latindance studio, I'd like to talk a little bit more about how I built it, because you've already seen a few parts of it, but there are still so many details to discover. The building itself was actually inspired by an image I found online before I started construction. I did a bit of research into traditional Spanish style houses because I really wanted to design to feel authentic. I already know the Spanish buildings can be super colorful, but I also saw that some follow a more pastel or white-toned style. Still, I definitely wanted to go with the colorful option, so I searched online for houses with that kind of aesthetic, and I found a structure that I instantly fell in love with, and that became the foundation of how my latindance studio came to life. The layout is basically like this. When you are standing in front of the dance studio, you should imagine I don't know, shaped building. In the courtyard, in the center, there's a colorful tile floor, and right in the middle of it is a beautiful fountain as the centerpiece. The entrance is one of the right side, and the first doorway leads directly to the reception area. It's a small room where Sims can check in and buy tickets for dance classes. From that little reception room, there's a staircase that takes you up the hallway, and of this hallway there are two dressing rooms, one for women and one for men. Each dressing room connects to a shower, and next to the shower there's a restroom, which happens to be the only toilet in the entire studio building. As you move down the hallway, you will eventually reach that restroom I just mentioned. Again, it's the only one in the whole studio, and from the end of the hall, if you turn left, you will reach the first dance studio room. This room is the smallest one, and it's intended mainly for beginner classes or temporary seasons. Sometimes it will be rented out for classes, sometimes not, but that's the main purpose of this small dance space. Moving on, next to the small studio, there's a large dance room. This one is where more advanced dance lessons will take place, including more structured choreography classes. It's the perfect space for learning dance like samba, mambo, salsa, tango, and other Latin or Spanish-inspired styles. Then leaving the large dance room and continuing along the left side of the, I don't know what this word, U-shaped structure, you will find a small open space in the back left corner. I'm not exactly sure what to call it, maybe a connection room. Basically, this space can be accessed from both inside the studio and from outside, so it's like a little gathering or hangout area. I don't know. From this space, there's a small bar-like area. Now, I didn't originally want a bear in my dance studio, but the lot I chose required me to include one. Still, I didn't put much emphasis on designing a full bear. Instead, I placed tables and chairs, so it functions more like a dining area. Next to that is a kitchen where a chef can prepare breakfast, lunch, snacks, or dinner. The food can then be sold in a small shop-like section so that the visiting sims, whether they are guests, students, or instructors, can come here to eat and relax between classes. That's the purpose of those two rooms: the dining space and the kitchen. Now, there's also an upstairs area which you can reach via an outdoor staircase that leads up from the courtyard. And on this upper floor is the large dance room. In the entire studio is designed for bigger classes or even for couples dancing, just like you may have seen in the intro of the video. So that's pretty much the full layout of my latindance studio, and I hope you found it interesting. I really hope you are going to enjoy it. And just like I mentioned in my previous video, I want to remind you of something very important, especially if you end up linking this Latin Dance Studio and would like to download it. Please remember that there might be some CC custom content items and add-ons on this lot. There are purely decorative and not fully functional. That means you might not be able to use them the way you would expect. They might just serve a visual purpose. If that really bothers you, feel free to replace them with something else. As I mentioned before, I really love using CC. I'm a big fan of custom content in general, but the downside is that many of them are only decorative. They look amazing but can't always be interacted with. That's just something you get used to when working with a lot of CC. Not everything function, and you kind of have to accept that. But if you enjoy working with CC like I do, you will find your way around it. So that's the overall structure of my Latin Dance Studio, and again, I really hope you like it. And if you feel like it, I'd love for you to leave a comment and tell me if you have a favorite Latin American show. Do you like Latin series? Is there an actor or actress you really love or used to watch a lot? I'm super curious about your opinions. Also, is there a Latin dance that you really enjoy, like salsa, rumba, mambo, or any others? I'd really love to hear your thought on the Latin vibe to the Latin style. I'm genuinely interested in what you think. To be honest, I've never actually been to Latin America, but I have visited Spanish-speaking regions like Gran Canaria and Barcelona. So I've definitely experienced some of that Latin energy. In high school, I also studied Spanish. It was my second language, so I do feel somewhat connected to the Latin vibe. And wow, I have to say, I had such a great experience in Spain. The buildings were stunning. The Spanish language is just beautiful. and there were so many amazing sights to see. The palm trees to see, the architecture, it was all so breathtaking. And the people super friendly and welcoming. Oh, and let's not forget the food, absolutely delicious. I still remember when we were in Barcelona and tried churros. Oh my god, this amazing sweet pastry that's long and tranche, kind of like a donut stick, and you dip it into chocolate sauce. We even had white chocolate sauce with ours. If it's made just right, soft on the inside, crisp. I don't know, on the inside, outside, it's seriously one of the best things ever. It's a classic local treat, and it totally added to the vibe of the trip. Now that summer's around the corner and people are starting to plan vacation, I can really recommend Barcelona to anyone thinking of traveling in Europe. It's such a vibrant and beautiful city, but of course, like any city, you've got to know which areas to explore. Some spots are nothing special, but the main attraction, wow, they are absolutely worth it and make for some really unforgettable memories. Honestly though, I don't know how you all handle the summer heat, but I struggle. I'm definitely more of a spring and autumn person. I don't like extreme weather, whether it's too cold in winter or too hot in summer. And lately summer has been just unbearably hot to the point where it's not even enjoyable to travel or go sightseeing. So my partner and I decided that from now on we'll go on holidays before peak season, like around May. It's just too much otherwise. This summer we'll still be traveling in August, just because that's how it worked out this year, but starting next year we are definitely planning for May, because this heat is just too much. Honestly, I say it's getting into the unhealthy zone. Unhealthy. Of course, there are people who absolutely love to eat and say they feel great in it. And to them, I always think, well, good for you. I really envy those people. I honestly had no idea what kind of genes they have. I don't know what kind of genetics are at play, but I don't know I want those genes. They are seriously lucky to be able to handle the heat. But to be fair, the other side, the ones who can tolerate the cold, they are lucky too, because honestly, it's own kind of challenge when it's like minus 10 Celsius outside, and you have to head into town and you barely step out the door, and already your hands and feet are frozen. So yeah, life's not always easy, but I do hope that in some small way I'm able to make your days a little brighter with my videos and my interesting English language. Sorry. And I really hope you enjoy this video too. If you'd like to download this house, make sure to check out my Patreon page. I upload all my builds and creations there every week, and if there's a particular theme that you saw and liked, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. I read all of them and I make sure to upload that theme to Patreon too, so definitely reach out. And if you have any ideas or inspiration, or if there's a specific house or build you would like me to create, feel free to message me on Facebook or Instagram. You can find links to both in the description. Send me your ideas. Of course, I can't promise I'll be able to build everything, especially if it's something super specific or complicated, but I definitely try. And honestly, that kind of feedback is just such a huge motivation for me. It shows me that you enjoy what I do and that you are excited for more videos. Speaking of upcoming videos, the next one is going to be super exciting. I'm diving into a very popular topic, Snow White. I don't know how you all feel about the latest Snow White live action remake, but I'm really curious to hear your opinions, and you will get a chance to share them in the comment section of the next video, because I'll be building Snow White fairy tale cottage for you. I'm really excited to show you that build, and I really hope you will like it as much as I enjoy making it. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me ramble. I don't think there's much left of the video now, but if you are still here, feel free to relax and enjoy the upbeat, happy Latin music playing as the rest of the dance studio build wraps up in the background. If you have enough for now, that's totally fine. Feel free to turn it off, but don't forget to subscribe just in case one of my future videos ends up being exactly your vibe. So thanks again for being here with me, and I see you in my next video. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.